Hi, my name is Pete McCall, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of the All About Fitness podcast, YouTube edition. This episode is going to be a quick fit tip where I talk a little bit about my latest book, Ageless Intensity. I know this might be showing up a little bit backwards on your screen, but hey, this is my book. I've been working on this actually probably going back 10, 12 years. It's been that long since before I started doing the podcast a long time ago, I worked for the American Council on Exercise. ACE is the largest nonprofit personal trainer certification organization in the United States. At ACE, my job was to do the research to develop the education programs to educate personal trainers and to help them earn their continuing education credits. About 10 or 12 years ago, I started realizing that I was getting close to turning 40, and I started realizing that people in their 40s and 50s and even 60s still were staying active and staying fit, and I really wanted to understand what role exercise was playing in that. So for the last number of years, I've been doing as much research as possible to understand exercise in the aging process. I've been traveling the world. I've had the opportunity to represent ACE. I've had the opportunity to represent Stairmaster and Nautilus at various conferences all over the world, and a lot of those I was teaching workshop sessions and teaching workshops on how exercise can slow down aging. I developed a talk called Exercise Program Designed for the Fountain of Youth. I have a talk called How to Age Gracefully. All that information, everything I've done in the last 10 years, I've written blogs, I've written articles, is in this book. And this book is updated with the latest science about how exercise can slow down aging. Now that I'm 49 years old, I'm obviously around the corner is 50, I don't want to slow down. But I want to understand how to use exercise to get out and enjoy all the things I love doing. And here's the cool part. I want to help you do the same thing. If you listen to the All About Fitness podcast, if you come back to this YouTube channel, hit subscribe down below. I will give you the information that you need to know to learn how to use exercise to manage the aging process. That's what's in the book. So what I'm going to do is, the book has a number of chapters in here. So in the book, you can't see it. I know it's coming in backwards. I have it organized into 3 parts with 9 chapters. Part 1 is called Slow the Aging Process. Chapter 1 is Functional Training Redefined. That's where I redefine this concept of functional training as using exercise to manage the aging process. Chapter 2 is Change How You Age. That's one of the most important benefits of exercise, is exercise can really help you to slow down and manage the aging process. Part 2 of the book is Improve How You Move. This is where we get into the exercise science. Chapter 3 is Mobility and Foundational Movement Patterns. Chapter 4 are Mobility Exercises and Workouts. I give you 3 specific mobility workouts, a number of exercises, including what to do with a foam roller. That way you can have the mobility. Mobility is a combination of tissue extensibility and joint range of motion. Some of our workouts should focus on mobility. Think of yoga as a perfect mobility workout. And in Chapter 4, I give you 3 mobility workouts that you can do on your own. Chapter 5, I go into strength and power training, the science of strength and power training. Chapter 6, I go into specific exercises and workouts that you can do. And see, that's the secret. Mobility, strength, and power are the secret to using exercise to manage the aging process. Chapter 7 is metabolic conditioning. Typically, we say cardio training, but if you're breathing, you're doing cardio. Anytime you start exercising, you're using your energy metabolism, so it's a little bit more appropriate to say metabolic conditioning. So Chapter 7 is metabolic conditioning. Finally, Part 3 of the book is Plan for Longevity. How to design the long-term programs so you learn how to really add years to your lifespan. And that's the thing. If you improve your aerobic conditioning, what we call aerobic capacity, or your VO2 max, if you can improve your VO2 max by 1 MET, that's a measuring unit for consuming oxygen. If you can improve your aerobic capacity by 1 MET, the research shows you can extend your lifespan by up to 15%. Yeah, six-pack abs are important. Yes, we want to look good, but hey, this Ageless Intensity teaches you how to use exercise to manage aging. So Plan for Longevity includes Chapter 8, Design Your Workout Plan, and Chapter 9, Extend Your Lifespan. So real quick, so you get a taste of the book, because we always want to try something before we buy it, right? That's the way I like to work. I'm sure everybody likes to do the same. So I'm going to read from you from the introduction. Now that we're in the third decade of the 21st century, if you're currently in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, you have grown up with the modern fitness industry. The modern fitness industry started around late 1960s, early 1970s. So if you're in your late 60s or 70s, you've grown up with the fitness industry. Let's get back to the book. You are in the first generation of active adults who have had access to gyms and exercise throughout their lifespan. And guess what? It shows. The original intent of exercise was to sculpt attractive bodies of lean, well-defined muscle. As the first generation of lifelong exercisers has aged, scientists have had the opportunity to study how exercise affects the aging process. What we are learning is that exercise, especially high-intensity exercise, just may be the fountain of youth that has eluded generations of explorers. And that's what I go into this book, is how high-intensity exercise can really help you find your youth. It was once thought that exercise was too strenuous for older adults, or if they did exercise, it should be at a very low intensity. That's probably because researchers did not want to risk injuring older adults in a study group by challenging them with high-intensity exercise. Therefore, there was no opportunity to collect data. Science has shown that exercise is good for you, but right now is the first time that researchers have the opportunity to study older adults who have exercised the majority of their lifespan to see how it affects them in the normal biological aging process. Now, not only is there a wide body of evidence suggesting that exercise is good for older adults, but as you will read in the following pages, high-intensity exercise may yield important benefits beyond those derived from lower moderate intensity exercise. When it comes to the human aging process, there are two options. One, accept it and let nature take its course, and that's really not an option. Or two, fight it. From plastic surgery to Botox injections to anti-aging clinics that specialize in prescribing hormone injections, adults around the world spend billions of dollars every year on products and services that purport to fight the effects of time on the human body. Aging is an inevitable part of the human experience that ultimately culminates in death. However, the right type of exercise program can produce numerous benefits that minimize the physiological effects of aging to allow you to maintain the energy level of adults many years younger. As you will read, high-intensity exercise could stimulate the production of anabolic hormones that promote muscle growth, and therefore can function as a literal fountain of youth. Much like death and taxes, aging is an unavoidable part of life, but as we get older, we can minimize its effects by exercising and making healthy lifestyle choices. And those are really the benefits of high-intensity exercise, strength training, power training, high-intensity interval training. Those exercises can increase levels of testosterone, growth hormone, and insulin-like growth factor. Those are the three critical hormones for helping the muscles grow and maintain muscle mass as we age. And this book is chock full of the latest research. I mean, this book just came out in August of 2021. I wrote it throughout the year 2020, and so all the research goes up to 2020 that goes into what we've been studying or what scientists have been studying about exercise and aging. So I'm going to read the last paragraph so you can help understand a little bit more. To help you understand how exercise affects your body, and more importantly, how aging affects your body, this book will draw analogies to and provide insights from 1980s movies to explain the science. From Rocky to The Terminator to Back to the Future, popular movies can provide useful metaphors about how exercise influences the aging process. And that's exactly why, you can't really see it here, but that's exactly why I asked Gunnar Peterson to write the foreword for this book. I've gotten to know Gunnar through just various associations, and Gunnar is probably one of the most effective trainers I've met, and he works with some of the top celebrities in Hollywood, and he applies the science to help his clients stay in great shape for the movies and the roles they produce. Now, Gunnar is also a few years older than me and in phenomenal shape, so he was the perfect person to write the introduction for the book, especially because I use analogies from movies to teach you how exercise affects the body. Now I'm going to read an example from Chapter 1, Functional Training Redefined. If I can change, you can change. The 1985 movie Rocky IV provides an excellent example of functional training. It was released at the height of the Cold War between the United States and the former Soviet Union. In the movie, Rocky seeks to avenge his friend's death by agreeing to fight Soviet boxer Ivan Drago in Drago's home country. To prepare for the fight, Rocky travels to the Soviet Union and trains in a barn in what looks to be the frozen tundra of Siberia, while Drago, the robotic product of Soviet sports scientists, exercises in a state-of-the-art facility surrounded by the latest technology. We've all seen the movie, or we should have seen the movie. The film includes a staple feature of 1980s movies, a montage set to a fast-paced soundtrack, this one depicting Rocky doing pull-ups and inverted sit-ups on a rafter in a barn, lifting and pushing a cart, carrying logs and running through snow. These scenes of Rocky training for his fight are a perfect example of functional training because they show a variety of different exercises to develop strength, power, endurance, and agility that our hero will need to defeat his Soviet adversary. Of course, Rocky, representing the United States, defeats Drago, the symbol of the former Soviet Union. During the course of the fight, the crowd stops cheering for Drago to root for the Italian stallion, Rocky's nickname. The movie ends with Rocky making a stirring speech about world peace by referencing how the crowd changed from cheering for the Soviet fighter to cheering for him. Quote, "If I can change, and you can change, everybody can change," is what Rocky bellowed into the microphone as he was declared the victor. It was an inspiring statement about peace between two adversaries and one of the most memorable scenes of the movie. Besides being an uplifting statement about world peace, little did the producers of the movie know that they had created the perfect juxtaposition between functional training and the machine-based exercise programs that can produce a muscular and lean body like Drago that looks good but may not be able to function effectively at the highest levels of human performance. But that's what functional training is. Functional training is a combination of strength, power, mobility, speed, endurance. That's exactly what we need to be able to use exercise to manage the aging process. So what I try to do in this book is I try to contextualize functional training not so much for performance, but functional training to manage something called successful aging. Successful aging, and you can go back a few episodes of the podcast, I interviewed a doctor, Dr. Daniel Levitin, who wrote the book Successful Aging. Successful aging is aging with maximum physical competence. It's aging with mental acuity. It's aging with good social skills and a good network of friends, a healthy network of friends. And that's what this book will teach you how to do, how to use exercise to achieve successful aging. And that's truly functional training. So now I'm going to read another snippet from the book. This is from Chapter 2, Change How You Age. Exercise can make you smarter. One important byproduct of exercise for older adults is an increase in BDNF. So now I'm going to read a second section of the book. This is from Chapter 2, Change How You Age. Again, I'm going to give you an example of how I use movies to teach you what you need to know about your body, okay? Specifically 80s movies, or mostly 80s movies. War Games, the 1983 thriller starring Matthew Broderick as David, a nerd who uses an early version of the internet to play the first generation of video games, introduced us to the concept of artificial intelligence, where machines are capable of doing the thinking. In the movie, David uses his dial-up modem, remember those, to search for a computer company so that he can play their latest games before they are released to the public. Instead, he dials into Whopper, W-O-P-R, a self-learning computer, the early version of artificial intelligence, AI, which was created by the military-industrial complex to practice war game, hence the title of the movie, scenarios about potential conflicts with the former Soviet Union. You have to remember, a lot of the 80s movies kind of take place around the Cold War. So if you're a little bit younger, you might not remember it. But if you're my age, 40-something and above, you definitely remember it. Instead of playing an innocent video game named Global Thermonuclear War, David almost accidentally starts World War III when the military thinks a computer simulation is the real thing. It's amazing how far we have come since War Games was released in the early 1980s. We no longer have dial-up modems, and AI has become a reality. You're likely walking around with an AI machine in your pocket that is more powerful than Whopper, which took up an entire room in the movie. The benefit of AI is that a computer can become smarter from the data entered into it. As a computer learns the habits, it can predict what you want when you start typing in a search bar or when it selects ads for a social media feed. That's how AI is applied to our lives every day. Computers tell us what we want to know before we even start typing that out. Well, why this segue into AI? Not only can a high-intensity exercise provide health and life-extending benefits, but there's an overwhelming amount of evidence to suggest that it could also enhance your cognitive function. Researchers have identified ways that high-intensity exercise can enhance your brain's performance by producing a protein that helps it in the central nervous system to work more effectively. The protein is BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That's right. Just as playing simulations can make an AI computer like Whopper from war games smarter, high-intensity exercise produces BDNF, a protein responsible for neurogenesis, production of new brain cells, which can help improve learning, memory, and other cognitive functions. So again, I use the movie War Games, which is about the early internet and about AI, to make the analogy of how our brain functions as related to exercise. Exercise can make you smarter. Besides BDNF, there's something called VEGF, which is a neurotrophic factor that helps the brain grow new blood vessels. Both those combined together really make an important, really do a lot to help the brain become more effective and your mind becomes smarter as you age, thanks to exercise. The final segment I'm going to read from the book is back from chapter 1, Change How You Age. How exercise supports successful aging. All the systems in the body are made up of cells. One of the greatest benefits of high-intensity exercise is that it results in mechanotransduction. The process of mechanical forces stimulate the production of new cells in muscle and connective tissues. If your car becomes scratched, you may need to apply some paint to cover up the scratch. As you age, high-intensity exercise creates the mechanical forces that stimulate the production of new cells, which is like carrying touch-up paint to fix damaged tissues in your body. The table outlines the systems of the body that receive the greatest benefits from exercise. So that's one of the most important benefits of exercise. It's a long word, it's called mechanotransduction, but it means that force placed in the body produces new cells. It creates new hormones, new chemicals, and all these things are what keeps your body young as you age. So if you want to learn how to use exercise to manage the aging process, number one, keep coming back to the All About Fitness podcast. That's why I do this. That's why I have this YouTube channel. That's why I podcast. I try to interview people who have the information to help you understand how to use exercise to manage the aging process. Number two is pick up a copy of my book, Ageless Intensity. There'll be a link down below. Go ahead, hit it, and this will be sent directly to your house, and you'll understand, not only will you understand how exercise slows down the aging process, but I have a number of exercises and workouts in the book that teach you exactly what you need to know. And I give you a program in the book that is a year-long program so you know what to do different parts of the year. Hey, look, we're not getting any younger, right? Every day passes, we're getting just a little bit older. And let's be honest, I'm in my 40s. I do not want to go back to my 20s. I don't want to go back. I don't want to be younger. That's not the point. But I want to manage the aging process well. That's what exercise allows us to do. That's what I'm trying to do with the YouTube channel. That's what I'm trying to do with the All About Fitness podcast. And that's what I'm trying to do with the book, Ageless Intensity. So keep coming back. Come back, hit subscribe, and get the content that you can use to learn how to use exercise to manage the aging process and add years of high quality living to your life. As always, thanks for stopping by. I look forward to having you join me for future episodes of All About Fitness.